With Peter Jackson's The Hunt for Gollum still a ways away, we at ScreenRant have decided to create our own plot following Gollum's origins, his fall into darkness, and his journey to be the creature encountered by Frodo Baggins. Our story begins in the year TA2462, based on Tolkien's timeline. 1 year before the One Ring is found, we see a small community who live along the Anduin River. Amongst them is a young hobbit-like Stor named Sméagol who enjoys a simple life. He is curious and mischievous. He is an average Stor, though a little covetous and strange by Stor standards. However, he was loved by his grandmother and his best friend and cousin, Déagol. It is Sméagol's 32nd birthday. A small gathering of family and friends have joined him for humble festivities. Though he is enjoying himself, there is an underlying jealousy at how popular and well-liked his cousin is, to the point that it feels Déagol is the only reason others attended the party. Sméagol pushes down his feelings and tries to continue on his celebrations. A montage of Sméagol's life over the course of the next year follows, where we see how his interactions with other Stors are awkward and short-lived. His hobbies and interests cause many Stors to avoid him, and as he is the grandson of the Anduin Stors clan matriarch, he finds them unlikable and beneath him. The montage lands a year later on Sméagol's 33rd birthday, where everything changes. Déagol has chosen to surprise Sméagol with an early morning fishing trip downriver from the community. Begrudgingly, Sméagol agrees, and the two friends head off for a day of river antics. While fishing, Déagol is pulled under the water by a strong fish. While underwater, he spies something golden in the riverbed. Releasing his catch, he emerges clutching a small gold ring that has an unnatural glimmer. Both Stors are in awe, but Sméagol is particularly drawn to it. Without hesitation, Sméagol demands it, stating it is his birthday, and should be his birthday present from Déagol. When his cousin refuses to give it up, Sméagol strangles him in a fit of rage, his mind already poisoned by the ring's dark influence. The murder is quick, brutal, and irreversible. Sméagol takes the ring, calling it his birthday present, but the weight of his crime lingers, casting a shadow over him. He buries Déagol's body, but the guilt seeps into his soul. Precious. Sméagol returns to his community, hiding the ring on his person. He is already changing and is both suspicious and twitchy of others, as most of the Stors have little time for him anyway. Sméagol is left alone, except when questioned by his grandmother over the whereabouts of Déagol. Sméagol lies, saying that his cousin went home after their fishing trip and he hasn't seen him since. He becomes paranoid and withdrawn, muttering to himself. His family become wary of him. The once playful Stor is now a skulking, bitter creature, consumed by whispers only he can hear. His health changes, and now he seems to find himself often choking in his throat, producing sickly, guttural noises. His community give him the nickname Gollum, from the sounds. Sméagol's paranoia grows louder, and one night, while admiring the One Ring, he decides to try it on and discovers it can give him invisibility. He immediately uses it to spy on the community and listen for anything they say about him. Eventually, he hears gossip from one of the Stor families, and unable to contain his rage, confronts them with a violent reaction, badly injuring them. It is at this moment that his grandmother, as matriarch, is forced to follow the laws of their community and banish him from the Anduin clan forever. Chased from his home, Sméagol is alone in Middle-earth for the first time in his young life. The ring grants Sméagol unnatural longevity, but becomes his only companion. It whispers constantly, keeping him awake, breaking him down. Starving and haunted by his actions, he mutters to himself, excusing what he did to Déagol because it was his birthday. His psyche becomes fractured as he tries to reconcile his better side with his darker actions. He follows the river south, moving through marshes, hills, and craggy lands, seeking solitude and safety. Eventually, he finds it in the depths of the Misty Mountains, where no light can touch him. Here, Gollum lives for centuries, feeding on raw fish, growing into a twisted, wretched being. The duality of his mind still wages an endless war between Sméagol, who clings to his old self, and Gollum, who serves the ring's will within him. As centuries pass, Middle-earth begins to stir, Sauron's power grows, and whispers of the ring reach dark ears. Unaware of the attention he gleans, Gollum becomes a target. All servants of Mordor, spies and orcs alike, begin tracking him, eager to claim whatever knowledge he possesses. In a restless sleep, the ring speaks to Gollum. Strange, whispered commands become vicious in their words. With his Sméagol mind afraid, Gollum chooses to ignore the whispers and flees deeper into the mountains. He evades capture by crawling through impossible crevices and scaling sheer cliffs.
That would kill us! Kill us!
Gollum flees into the goblin tunnels. He knows only one thing matters now. He must protect the precious. His journey is desperate. He crawls through forgotten tunnels, scales icy cliffs, and hides from creatures lurking in the dark. The whispers in his head grow louder. He begins to lose himself completely, his Sméagol side fading, leaving only Gollum behind. He hides out deep within the caves. With Sméagol's mind weak, Gollum takes full control. His diet changes from solely fish to larger, more evolved prey. He picks off small, injured goblins, leaning further into the corruption the One Ring has wrought. As more time passes, Gollum's worry about being hunted begins to subside. He and Sméagol settle into their new, dank dwelling and go about living their wretched existence in peace. But after some time, Gollum has a visitor. A hobbit by the name of Frodo Baggins stumbles into his domain. They play a game of riddles, one which Gollum plans to cheat at in order to eat the filthy hobbit. However, he discovers that the One Ring is missing and immediately knows Bilbo has stolen it. He chases him through the caves, but soon loses him.
They stole it from us. Sneaky little hobbitses.
Unwilling to let this betrayal go, Gollum sets out from the goblin caves in search of the thief Baggins. He tracks Bilbo's journey with the company of Thorin Oakenshield, but when a pack of orcs riding on wargs ambush the company outside of the Misty Mountains, Gollum panics, fleeing from the scene and back to the caves where he stews over Bilbo's treachery. In a time jump, we move forward many years. Gollum has roamed from the goblin caves determined to find the Shire. Some distant part of him recognizes the word Hobbit and Shire, but he has no way of knowing where they are located. He finds himself following the river south and runs into the forces of Sauron. They capture him and take him to Mordor's dungeons of Barad-dûr. Reluctant to confess anything about the One Ring for fear he would lose it forever, Gollum is relentlessly tortured. Eventually, he screams only two words, Shire and Baggins. With this, he is thrown into a cell and left to rot. Meanwhile, another hunter joins the search. The ranger known as Strider is sent by Gandalf to find Gollum and bring him to the Grey Wizard for questioning. Weak and afraid, Sméagol and Gollum find an escape. They manage to flee Mordor and head north into the Dead Marshes. Unknown to him, the Master Tracker is on his trail. In a daring confrontation in the Dead Marshes, Strider finally captures Gollum and sets about taking him to Mirkwood. During their trek, Strider is bombarded by the creature's fractured exchanges. Sméagol pleads for freedom while Gollum sneers, promising death and vengeance. Strider, though resolute, begins to pity Gollum, recognizing the torment that the ring has inflicted upon him. Once in Mirkwood, Gandalf arrives to interrogate Gollum. Having suffered at the hands of Mordor torturers, Gollum is terrified, revealing Bilbo's name immediately. As the elves escort him to the prisons of the Woodland Realm, they are ambushed by orcs. In the chaos, Gollum escapes once more and begins his determined search for the precious. The final scenes are made up of a montage of Gollum's tracking of Frodo and the Fellowship, starting at Moria and culminating in his first conversation with Frodo in the Amenmuil.
You must believe us. It was the precious.
Thus ends ScreenRant's untold tale of Sméagol's fall, a story of greed, betrayal, and suffering, but also of fate, leading him to the very moment where he unwittingly aids in the ring's final journey. Is this what you're hoping from the hunt for Gollum? Let us know. Thanks for watching ScreenRant.